Everybody, this is Adrian, your real estate agent, and one of the most common questions that I get is how do I get started if I'm thinking about buying a home? And to that I always have a question of why it is that you want to buy a home. The reason for the question is because perhaps you're looking to go from your 2-bedroom to a 4-bedroom. You are no longer needing a lot of space, or perhaps you are looking to downgrade from whatever you have, tired of the maintenance of that super large house that you got a long time ago. So you want to have something much smaller. Perhaps you're looking to set some roots here in Las Vegas. Perhaps you have a rent that's going up. That's happening a lot here in Las Vegas. So what better way than buy a home and make sure that that never changes? And perhaps you may have a pet that doesn't qualify for certain standards or rules that certain landlords have. So you need your own space where nobody can tell you what you could have, you can't have. So that is a question that I always start off with, just because it tells us what direction to head into. The next thing that you want to think about is your down payment. You're gonna need a down payment to be able to purchase a home. There's several different options, anywhere from a 0% down all the way to 20% down. 0%, if you could qualify for that, is a down payment assistance, usually comes from the state. After that, if you are a military service member, you get 0%, you've earned this. If you're also a veteran, you also get a VA option of 0% down. You've earned that, so make sure that you try to use it if you do qualify. And then after that, then you have more of a normal 3% down. That still needs a qualification standards, so look into that. The most common option of a down payment is a 3.5 FHA. It is the most easily to qualify for. I started with an FHA 3.5% down. If you know somebody that owns a home, they most likely started with an FHA 3.5%. So definitely give that option a try. It is a really good option to start off, and the qualifications are just much easier. After FHA, the other option that you have is a 5% conventional, and the reason that I always recommend the 5% conventional is because if you're thinking about buying long term, when you set yourself for a 5% conventional, the mortgage insurance eventually falls off. We could go into the whole subject of mortgage insurance, but it's just an extra cost that you're paying for the mortgage company. So if you could save yourself that eventually, definitely give that a try. 5% conventional down payment. And lastly, you have the option of a 20% down payment, and it used to be that most people needed a 20% down payment, but that's really when homes were probably worth about $50,000, $30,000, so definitely much easier. And 20% down now, if you have the possibilities, yeah, definitely do it, because you save yourself that mortgage insurance that I previously talked about, and you also have a lower down payment, of course, because you put a much larger down payment on your home. So overall, you give a home buying a start really well, because you already put up front quite a bit of money, and you already have equity in it because it's your money. So once you've thought about those options of a down payment and what would be possible for you, because there's many, then you want to actually go see a qualified loan officer, and I could recommend you a few really good ones, so make sure that you talk to me. And what they want to see is your work history. So usually the most common is a 2-year work history. So they want to see your last 2 years of tax returns. Your tax returns tell you everything about your income, so bring that with you. Also your last pay stubs, because that tells them your income, and if you currently have a job, you do need to have some work history. Usually 2-year work history is necessary, so but sometimes there's gaps and there's different things that they could actually do, so as long as you actually have a history of work. And the reason that you want to go and speak with a loan officer first is because there's nothing worse than going and look at the perfect home and then you find out that you can't qualify for it, or even worse, you think you could only qualify for a 2-bedroom, and that's what you're holding your hopes on, when you really could qualify for that 4th bedroom because you're planning on staying at that home for 15 years. So make sure that you have the space needed for the long term. So I can't stress enough how important it is to really have a good loan officer to help you with the home buying process. It is very important. Without a loan, you can't have a home. So please put yourself in contact with a really good loan officer, and I've worked with a few. Please let me know. And the last step to all of this is to actually go look at homes. So let's go start looking at some homes. Signing off, this is Adrian, your real estate agent.